All right. So we are live, live, live. We're gonna have some more fun here. I'm all alone at home, so when the cat's away, the mice will play. This is gonna be a fun one, guys. I'm calling this the new alien gospel, and it is part of the end time deception. This is nothing new for Christians. We have people, teachers like Chuck Missler. They've been teaching this for decades. It just has not been brought to the forefront. But Christians really have an answer to a lot of the stuff that seems to be occurring now in increasing frequency. When I find good channels, I don't hide them from you. I don't try and rob all of their good content to recreate something. If I see an interesting video that's had a good impact on me and I think that it'll be useful to my viewers, I'm just going to pass it on. So I'd like to do, these response videos. That way we can sit back. I'll try not to interrupt too much, and it just creates a natural flow to the dialogue. So yeah, let me show you the first site here that I wanted to talk to you about. Got a couple of them. The first thing that I just want to show you is a great Christian teacher, Chuck Missler. You'll see that everyone is takes Chuck Missler's decades and decades of recordings and sermons and lectures, and they copy paste, they create content which is wonderful. It's good that this information is shared, and this is basically what I'm doing. Quick way of doing a stream that's going to be super interesting, and just acknowledge the fair use of other people's efforts. We see that now, if you look, maybe 4 days ago and stuff like that, but these videos you can even see with the qualities of these videos that these are actually very old videos. So it's in fact not that Christians are in a way scrambling now to put together a new theology that incorporates all of the things, for example, that Bruce Seazall, is my brother, is seeing on the moon, these manifestations in the sky, in the air. It's important to realize that who is the prince and power of the air? And notice it says the air. So that's the first heaven, that's the sky. So for now, until Christ Jesus comes, and then he has dominion over everything, for now, in the end days, in the end times, it is Satan that is the prince and power of this worldly system, right? That doesn't believe in God, or that does but hates God, that is worldly, that is based on our own pride and on us becoming gods. This is the first lie that was said. So that being said, devour everything that Chuck Missler has ever put on here. Here, for example, aliens, angels, UFOs, fallen angels, the Christian perspective, Chuck Missler, return of the Nephilim. Who is that? Just give me 1 second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry, I thought you were gone to the dentist, and yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's no background music. You literally get a strike. So stupid. Distance thunders, coming alien deception. So the first person that I want to highlight for you to do your own research is Chuck Missler. 100%. Also, there's Trey Smith. Trey Smith, God in a Nutshell channel. So he's been doing, like, look, he was talking about this stuff like a decade ago, 8 years ago, about the book of Enoch, hybrids, ancient transhumanism, 8 years ago, the birth of all the occult. And this is important because um, maybe there are some Christians that are like, no, I only believe in the Bible and the New Testament, and all this occult thing is just fairy tale. It's like, no, it's not. It's actually based on truth. Now, there's the majority of this is based on truth, like the Anunnaki, for example, the star people, the people that came from the heavens, right? The fallen angels. You only need about that 1 to 2% lie in there. And if you look at most of the occult, it does line up and fit with the biblical narrative of Genesis 6, the rebellion of the angels, the alien human hybrids, the contamination of the human genetics requiring the flood. The population again of the Nephilim, these angel human hybrids, that the their the fathers were fallen angels. They were beings that are not from this dimension. In fact, that's what the word Elohim means. It's written 1,000 times. Elohim just means a spirit creature, a spirit being. Anybody whose natural abode is not in this dimension is considered an Elohim. Therefore, that's why they attribute as well, before knowing the name of Yahweh becomes revealed, they call him Elohim because he is the great spirit being. So we could say that there's 1,000 references in the Bible to Elohim. Even I saw an Elohim coming out of the grave. It just means a spirit. So Elohim isn't a designated name for the one true Almighty God referred to us, the Father. This is really just to tell us, what kind of being they are. So yes, Elohim, yes, Yahweh is an Elohim, but not all Elohim are Yahweh. So a lot of Christians might, not understand, but that if we look at ancient Mesopotamia, I was just talking about this to somebody else who was saying like, oh, you know what, you are ignorant of the cuneiform tablets. You're ignorant of the Mesopotamia, these prior civilizations. And I'm like, no, I'm not at all. Abraham came from the land of Ur, of Chaldean. This is a city in ancient Mesopotamia. I also learned about Mesopotamia in college. So the Bible acknowledges that there were cultures prior to that. But the Bible say that these prior cultures were run by angels, lesser deities. We see this as well in Babel. So another good person that will really give you an awesome timeline about the occult all throughout time is him. He does some amazing documentaries. Unfortunately, I tried to purchase years ago his documentaries and they never came in the mail. But he's pretty generous with as well the teasers and the amount of information that you can still get even if you're not paying for any of his documentaries. Don't agree with him on everything, but like you say, like we can't be open, we can't be closed-minded. I listen, and I might not agree with everybody, but it doesn't mean that they're not right or they're on key or they're you can get a kernel of truth that you can add to get a clearer picture of what's going on. So I just want to give props to Trey Smith. Trey Smith, it's at Trey Smith Nutshell. He also has a God in a Nutshell site. Now, this is going to relate a lot to the title of this live stream. There's something called Project Bluebeam, and we could do a whole thing about Project Bluebeam, but it's basically technology that has the ability to create realistic holographic images wherever. Like they could uh, basically do whatever they want. They could put in the sky holographically the second coming of Jesus appearing in the sky with his holy ones. They can also put things like alien crafts and UFOs and things like that. Not saying that all of the phenomena that we see in the sky is that. In fact, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying a large part of it is multidimensional beings coming in and out of our dimension, and they're able to because they're in a higher dimension. It's like I'm looking at stick people on a paper with 2 dimensions, and I'm there and I can see it all, and I can but I'm in the 3rd dimension. Now if I was to put my finger into the dimension of Mr. and Mrs. Stick Person on the paper, they would only see a tiny point developing into a larger circle, maybe like a rectangle or something, a line. And then as I pull out of the dimension, I would disappear. I think that uh, there is technology that we've reverse engineered. They're showing these kind of cloaking devices now. That's known. That's patented, right? They can have vehicles that are completely able to blend into their environment. They have this technology on tanks that they're developing, and all of a sudden it's able to just put itself like an octopus kind of thing, just blend into its environment to cloak itself. These are multidimensional beings, and we also have the famous Tic Tac crafts. I fell a few days ago on this one that spoke about Project Bluebeam, about the unleashing. And this is according to a former FBI agent. What they're going to do is they're going to use Project Bluebeam as a fake alien invasion. Don't forget that nothing is said on the public stage for no reason. When Ronald Reagan was talking about him imagining that if a force outside of this world was to come upon humanity, that we would all quickly forget our differences and band together. Now, banding together apart from God is actually not a good thing. That's why you confuse the languages in Babel. So we can see that that the powers behind the curtains, the for now the evil powers, the principalities, the rulers in high places, are using basically easily this kind of deception. I just want to log on to the stream here. This gentleman, John DeSouza, is making the claim that he has insider information about a future plan to use Project Bluebeam to make a alien invasion, and to make this alien invasion truly look like ships. Okay, that it's not going to look like heavenly beings, that it'll look like perhaps these tic tacs as he goes into, or definitely these solid crafts. These like Satan for now is the prince of the powers of the air, not the space, the second heaven where there's no air, right? Atmosphere, we could say. No, it's the first heavens here in the skies. He's given the power to create wonders and miracles and all sorts of stuff. That's his domain for now. Okay. And he's going to use the skies, and he's going to keep us staring in the skies. And it's going to be alien, intergalactic brothers. Okay. They could use Project Bluebeam, where they're trying to create this one world religion, so they can, put like, how we recognize Jesus, the typical image of Jesus, Buddha, Krishna. They could put in the skies all these avatars in the clouds, and even able to have these loud sounding trumpets echoing through the earth and things like that, sound waves. There's technology to manipulate global frequencies. They can easily fabricate all of these things, and this is the one of the great deceptions that are coming upon. So believe it or not, that's really I'm not too stressed about trying or getting upset if I can't convince you of that. But I do want those people who don't believe this, just keep it in the back of your mind. Okay. It's important right now. They're trying to overload us at the same time as censoring this whole, manipulation to confuse the masses. I think that, and I feel that I have a pretty solidified worldview too. But even me, I'm not stepping away from all of the activities. There's been reports more and more about tall beings, 9, 10 feet. They look, sorry. They are able, again, like we are showing that we have technology to put hitting like a cloak where you can't see me anymore. This ability to manifest, not manifest, to be seen, not seen. I think definitely the phenomena that defies the laws of physics. We're looking at a multi-dimensional and interdimensional manifestation of beings from the, well, basically the manifestation of wide name for spiritual being, the manifestations of the Elohim. We had this in the past. We had this, during the times of Torah. We had, the veil, thin when Messiah came to atone for, our sins and be the atoning sacrifice. And 100%, if you look at all of the Old Testament prophecies and Revelation, there's some wacky, wacky supernatural things that are occurring. And we can see that through our movies, Marvel, X-Men, E.T., everything has been preparing us for our intergalactic brothers. Okay. And it breaks my heart, guys, to see how quickly so-called Christians, okay, will adopt on top of their worldview this space, intergalactic aliens, and go even as far as to start, and I think at that point they've parted from Christianity, that these are actual aliens from within this universe. They're not multidimensional, and they are our creators, or at least they took whatever life was here and added their own DNA. Do you realize that's, again, always trying to steal from God? We are made in God's image. Of course they're going to say we came here and we gave our DNA because you're in our image. They're always going to take everything away from the God of the Bible and claim that it is them. So we see that Yahweh in the Old Testament complains and says that they rather worship the hosts of heaven than me. When you look at the table of the nations, when God decided to, I'm going to take a nation. I'm going to start that with Abraham, and Abraham is from Ur of Chaldean. This is Mesopotamia. So again, the Bible is not saying that all of the cuneiform tablets, all of the Anunnaki, all of the mythology, religions, and stuff like that, and gods and the names that they give, gods, a little g, or the pantheon of all of these various cultures. I think that no, it is true historically. It means it's based on actual historical things, and a lot of the key characters that we see, right? Lucifer, rebellion of the angels, and things of this sort, out they are called by a different name in various cultures. So it means that obviously, if it's true, the fallen angels, and I believe it, with you know all of my intellect that I can muster, the little that I have, um, I see that it blends beautifully into the belief structures prior to the time of Moses, and it blends in with what the Bible says about Genesis 6, says about the giants, says about the Nephilim. There is, so that gives quite a large validity. I was challenged, kind of implying, well, you know what, if you actually read, Mesopotamian religions and stuff like that, and the tablets, that you would be informed that this is just the same retelling of the story. No, I would say that it's the retelling over and over. But the subtle difference with the retelling is that in the Bible, the serpent is evil. Okay, and in all of the other occult practices, um, he's the good guy, right? So, and we can see that in the Hebrews, God is confronting Baal, or Baal, Baal, a god, right? A pagan god from, again, the originating from, again, Mesopotamia. Most of everything's originated from this older ancient culture. Um, so let's continue. So I'm going to say hello to everyone. And then we're going to get into a little bit of the video. Il faut faire attention à ce qu'on écoute autant. Yeah, just Jan's saying, like, watch out what enters your gates. Um, you know, look at this world, the constant, like, hypersexualization, the perversity of TikTok, and what we look at, like, what we gaze upon does go through our eyes and does have an effect on our inner man. And what we hear, a lot of our senses are to be, guarded. It says, if all of your eye is light, your whole body's light. But if your eye is darkness, how deep is that darkness? And I can see that in my own life, that I'm not like an enlightened master. I am dark without the Holy Spirit, and the only light that resides in my temple is the Holy Spirit. I'm not a light unto myself. I don't believe that we're all little g gods. I don't even believe that we are, all part of God. I think that we are created in His image. I think that, I think that we're created beings. I think that we are created in His image, and that means that we're compatible to know and understand Him. That's kind of our destiny. But this whole, like, we are all gods. If we are, what a horrible thing that is, because I see only the influence of the one who is trying to be God, the fallen one, Lucifer, Satan. Those are kind of titles, but the prideful one, Satan was a cherubim. He was a cherub. So, he was not just a messenger or an archangel. Those are the beings that were closest to the throne. I think he was the highest of the cherub. So Jan is just, saying, yeah, we should watch what we're feeding ourselves, what we're watching constantly. Hey, Jules from Oregon. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet. I know who you are. Nice to see you. Leah is in the house. Darla, the moderator. Jan says Jesus is the Prince of Peace. So yeah, what kind of like is motivated me was this person in the comments. It was kind of like assuming, like, I was talking about the occult, and he's like, yeah, typical Christian, you don't believe in the occult. And I'm like, man, this guy really does not know my content. This is probably somebody that just fell on one video, likely maybe even didn't watch it and is just assuming is doing assumptions and presupposing that he knows my opinion on the cuneiform tablets, my opinion on ancient civilizations, my opinion on the occult. If I'm going around obsessing about the serpent being present in almost all other religions, especially the occult, talking about the moon and the star, talking about occultism, um, right down to talking about chakras and kundalinis, um, doing 20 years before becoming a Christian in comparative religion, knowing all of this. So again, it just shows a lot of people may have just assumed that I'm a Christian. I'm just going to brush this off, and I'm like, no. I'm even more crazier than you think, because I'm going to start ripping out like fallen angels, Genesis 6, Book of Enoch, DNA manipulation. The Nephilim, okay, Nephilim just means angel human hybrid. They happen to be giants in the first incursion. The ones after the flood were also quite high, but they seem to be less large and less powerful. I think that the new army of Nephilim for the end times are basically, they're going to look very much like humans. They're going to blend in. I think that's what a lot of the UFO abduction experiences, which, like Jacques Vallée says, pretty much mimics the more older tales of demonic possession or stuff like that. Has to do heavily with reproduction. If we look at the UFO technology, UFO stories and stuff like that, a lot about technology, people that have been contacted that would possibly say that it was a positive experience. It's always the same message, the same spiritual message, and it's always about Jesus. It's always saying that somehow, Jesus was one of them. They take the gospel, they take Jesus Christ, and it's one of their larger focus. This is where the person will hear that maybe as a non-believer doesn't understand the whole angelic rebellion and the evil realm, and will say things such as, um, "It's it's my grandmother that I'm talking to," or something. In the Bible, these are called familial spirits. So these spirits are demonic. What they are is basically they can read your minds. Okay. We're talking about powerful, interdimensional, heavenly Elohim that were there at the start of creation. These people, okay, no, these people are the origins of all the technology. And they will always say that, don't worry, you're already perfect. You guys are already gods. Jesus was one of us. He was the ascended master. The Christians have got it all wrong. And we see this underlying lie. So let's just jump over here and get into some of the fun stuff, which is listening to someone else besides me. Again, please go and subscribe to this guy's channel. He's a little wacky in certain aspects. Revelation of Jesus Christ. You can go click on that. The Gospel of the Aliens, Fallen Angels, Giants, Anunnaki. Again, I want to show you that, especially if you're a Christian, before jumping on the intergalactic bandwagon and leaving your world view, make sure that you're informed as a Christian that everything is fitting and actually makes a lot more sense in the current Christian worldview of all of these manifestations than completely destroying and saying that, well, they're aliens. They're just intergalactic people. I mean, to a certain extent, Anunnaki, they said the people that come from the heavens, from the sky. The Anunnaki don't necessarily. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what I mean? Let's go.
For the very first time, the world is about to hear from a former high-level U.S. intelligence officer who says the
government has some of the unidentified craft in its possession. He is revealing these exclusive details about the secret government program.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120
Serpent.
years.
Look at the serpent. Notice the serpents. So these are well-informed Christians. Okay, Christianity, the Bible, has answers to the phenomena that are occurring. It fits in historically. It does not negate the occult. It's just saying the occult is not good. Okay, it's a subtle change. Okay, both sides pretty much have the same characters, except in the Bible, the serpent is the deceiver and Yahweh is the good one. And, you know, it's just flipped. And therefore, yeah, you go to ancient tablets and stuff like that, you will get the remnants, you will get their version of the fallen angels, their versions of Genesis 6. I know that some Christians that are uncomfortable going beyond Sunday, Sunday school basics, and I get that's the most important too. If you're right on all of this, if I'm right on all of this, but I'm not right with Christ, this is worthless. So, but it is important for my own conscience, right or wrong, for posterity, that no matter what happens, that I think there's a reason why all of the Christians are putting out this content. So, yeah, let's go with it.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Did you see that footprint, man?
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat
to make us recognize this common bound.
Yep.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. If we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
If we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force
already among us?
I think it's absolutely fascinating. I hope it's true. You know, the tagline of the X-Files was, I want to believe. I am a skeptic, but I would love to be persuaded. And if this actually is evidence of extra...
You know, you got Richard Dawkins, hardcore atheist, very, very hateful of the Bible, yet he's completely fine saying, yeah, maybe like an alien race came and seeded us. He was like, so it's like, if somebody comes in their own name, I mean, even as aliens, people will bow down and accept. But when Jesus came in the name of his Father, not many people accepted him. And that's a warning. Jesus says that, and he's speaking about the future. He said that 2,000 years ago. So he's talking about the later days. Prophecy is being accomplished. 1948, the fact that Christians are not speaking up and saying, guys, the Bible was right about Israel being gathered from the nations again. They were dispersed, just like the prophecies in the Old Testament said. They've been regathered. What's the Bible saying about that? That once you see this happen, then all the typical wars, rumors of wars, and all of these birth pains, that have basically been happening since the dawn of man, in a way. Not the dawn of man, but you know what I mean. There's always been wars and pestilences and things like that. But they said, yeah, when God regathers his scattered nations into the promised land, and then all of these things start increasing, wars, rumors of wars, plagues, pestilences, and stuff like that, then you know that that generation will not pass away until they see the completion of it all. We have multiple as well extra biblical prophecies that such as the prophecy of Saint Malachi, that the succession of the popes, right, and the last pope that will bring in that will be present while the Catholic Church is there during the tribulation. You look at Revelation, the 7 churches. You look at the warning. There is one church that represents the Catholic. They are 100% going to be left behind. That false institution will be judged wickedly. And for another time, but yes, also plays a large part in behind the scenes of the false prophet. Let's continue.
Trust your life. It'll be the biggest news story of all time.
It'll be the biggest news story of all time.
In recent years, Congress starting an official U.S. government unidentified aerial phenomena task force.
Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The son of perdition. Even him whose coming is after the workings of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they should believe a lie, that they should believe a lie.
Southern Nevada is abuzz tonight with stories about the crash of an unknown.
So this one was not that long ago, 911 call. It was on the news and stuff like that. There's one thing that this guy revealed to me that was very important. Every single newscast showed all of the footage except the last part. The last part is that you'll hear the story. They prayed because they were a Christian family, and when they prayed at the end of this story, they heard a human-like scream in the backyard. Every news station showed every single footage of the witness. None of them showed that at the end, this whole story, the guy says, and we went into the house and we began to pray, and we heard in the backyard a human-sounding voice screaming. They don't want you to know that when you use the name of Jesus Christ, that it has power over that. And I've heard this about alien abductions, but I don't know if that's true. It's just Christians trying to say, oh yeah, it's true. I don't know. I can't prove it, but I have heard that many alien abduction experiences have been terminated when someone uses the name of Jesus Christ. I don't know.
Known object and the alleged sighting of strange creatures in the backyard of a Northwest Valley home.
So it was last night that 8 News Now investigator David Charns reported about how Metro Police responded back on May 1st after receiving a strange call from a very frightened family. Well, our report generated a global response, and now piecing together the sequence of events has been kind of tricky.
Don't you find it strange that those that believe in the true and living God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, are called crazy in this wicked world that we live in? And if you claim to investigate history from a different angle than that which has been brainwashed on millions of people, they call you crazy. And if you have a difference of opinion on what was really done in the past, when you look around the forest of history, they call you crazy. But I know one thing. The Bible says in the last days, they will call evil good and good evil. So isn't it safe to say that those who are actually the ones that are insane will call those that are sound-minded crazy? But don't worry, brothers and sisters in Christ, you're not crazy. You just are surrounded by billions of people that have been blinded by the God of this world.
Wow, that went down.
Before we stare at a single...
Sorry, the coffee went down the wrong hole. I almost died online. And again, I'm speaking to those, not calling you guys demonic if you believe in aliens, if you believe the whole thing. Look at what is my intention to do this. My intention is that I truly believe that this angle is the truth. And obviously, I'm letting people know, not forcefully, but just trying to get the message out there because I love you guys, because I don't want anybody to be deceived. If Christianity is wrong, then a bunch of Christians still, right, make it because we're all spiritual, right? Like, think of it. Like, so if Christianity is wrong and everyone else that just says we're already little gods and we're part of God and we're already saved and there's no question about our eternal state, then, kind of like, who cares, right? Then the Christians tried to be loving people. They used Jesus as their example. They had a ridiculous worldview and, they were delusional, and we all make it anyways. But if Christianity and the gospel message is true, then it's of utmost importance. So as far as I am concerned, is I'm throwing it out there. I'm just like, hopefully God will use this. And I do, again, want to let you know that go subscribe to this guy's channel. I'm using, his content. I think it's very good. I think there's some things I don't agree with completely, but yeah. I often also get like people complaining to me like that I'm interrupting the video. Guys, I can't just steal somebody's work, play 3 hours, and then get views from it. I have to engage with the content, unfortunately. But obviously, if you don't want to hear my comments, and I don't blame you for in many reasons, yeah, go. It's worth going to see this. But there will be interruptions.
Tree and investigate a recent story that has gone viral about a family claiming to see over 10-foot tall beings that they refer to as aliens on the very same night that...
Okay, this one is definitely real footage. This was plastered all over the news. You hear the police acknowledging that he as well, like my partner, the reason I'm taking this seriously is that my partner saw a flash of light as well. He has this young man has as well the sound of something literally sounding like something out of the sky falling. And again, as a Christian, what are angels referred to when they're not referred to as angels? Stars. Okay. The stars of heaven, the heavenly hosts sang for joy. Okay. I'm not saying that celestial bodies, don't have vibrations and stuff like that, but I'm saying that we will be seeing more and more as we approach the end of the age, which we're there already, that the veil in the sky is thinning. And some of these lights are probably good angels, and some of them are those who rebelled. The deception is not this kind of manifestation. These light orbs, all that is 100% true. The deception is that they're trying to mix this interdimensional phenomenon with things that will look like solid, metallic, somewhat physical spacecrafts. A lot of that is reverse engineered technology. And what the claim here is, the hypothesis that perhaps it's also just technology like Project Bluebeam, the ability to create indistinguishable things in signs in the heavens, lying wonders to deceive the nations. Imagine the amount of fear, okay, when it's just not a few 20 or light orbs that separate and do weird stuff and then appear and disappear. Imagine if it's thousands of them that appear and they just stay there. People would freak out. People, um, the the world will come together. Okay, and the only way that the world comes together is and put aside their difference is like Ronald Reagan said. Don't forget predictive programming. God has revealed, like, why is the Bible real? Well, because there's rules to play. Okay, and God revealed everything from the start to the end in the Bible. This Satan, he doesn't have to write a satanic Bible. What he has to do is he has to say what he's going to do, and what he's used is is Hollywood, is all of the wonderful stories that have been told. Is, what are Marvel action figures but half human, half divine, Thor, exactly, stuff like that, or Spider-Man, superpowers from changing your genetics, all of the Alien movies, all of the what I consider controlled opposition. They're hiding the truth about aliens, They're hiding the truth about the phenomena, but now they're going to reveal it. And this is the deception. They're going to reveal that it is intergalactic brothers. These are flesh and blood, solid, beings that come from far, far distances away. That's the lie. They are already being embraced by a lot of communities, whether it's New Age, the spiritual group, truth seekers, people that are even interested in my brother's content, for sure. A lot of them. There's some Christians too. A lot of people just wondering. Bruce is very open-minded. I appreciate that. He probably endures me because I'm his brother, and he loves me. So but yeah, Bruce is very open-minded and allows me to speak what I'm concerned about. I don't want people to be deceived. I want people to have both stories. Let's continue.
Fireball fell from the heavens. We must first turn around and look at the forest of time and examine the evidence that has been calling out to us from the past. I mean, ask yourself the question, why were we not taught in schools that at the very same time, all across the earth, from many different civilizations and continents, from the Americas, India, Egypt, Babylon, known as Iraq, they all spoke of and wrote down in the walls of these gods.
All right. See this? This is, the Mesopotamian god, rings inside of rings. We have to, the only spirit creatures that have wings are those very close to the throne, the cherubs. Over here, notice this fish hat. You can go check the Pope with his fish hat on. Pope with fish hat. So this idea that here you go. So there you go. So you can look. It's the same thing. I mean, we've gone over and over, but yeah, it's been acknowledged. Like, people are very aware. So when they say that this Christian religion and stuff, and the Israelites, they just stole from from the Mesopotamian culture, etc. That is not true. It's not that they stole. It's that a lot of the stuff that we know from that and understand their gods and their religions and their pantheons and stuff like that is just supporting the Bible. The Bible arrived, with Abraham. Abraham was in this Mesopotamian culture in the city of Ur, and that's a Mesopotamian culture. Just give me 1 second. I wanted to see. Yeah, it's like you go to just Britannica.com. According to the biblical account, Abram, the father, or God is exalted. That's the name. Who is later named Abraham. An H, a He was added, meaning the Holy Spirit was added to him. A native of Ur in Mesopotamia is called by God Yahweh to leave his own country and stuff. So I was having a back and forth about this person who's trying to criticize me, um, basically saying that like I'm uneducated about this culture, and that if I knew about the culture, that I just realized that it's that the Israelites, they just stole from them, and I don't think that that's accurate. I just want to check one thing. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna let this play. I don't think I was sharing it, so I'm just going to bring it back a little bit. Here you go.
All across
Here's the giants, right? The Nephilim. Look at the giants. And the Bible says these were the great men of renown, the heroes of old.
the earth, from many different civilizations and continents, from the Americas, India, Egypt, Babylon, known as Iraq. They all spoke of and wrote down in the walls of these gods that came down from above. I mean, you don't think that they were all just having fun on walls like a...
And we have to, in a way, I've brought this idea up. Stop thinking that spirit beings or these interdimensional beings don't have solid things. We know that the temple that was made here on earth is an image of the temple in heaven, right? We know that. So there's a lot of things here that we can see in the Old Testament, this ancient technology. And I don't find it far-fetched that these interdimensional beings coming into physicality are not able to do all of these insanely high-tech technologies and manipulate them. They were here when the whole creation was created. They're very knowledgeable. They've been around since the dawn of time. They've always been watching. They know every language. They know everything that has happened in history. They, have powers of reading your minds. You'll often see that with aliens, once you stare at them or you become paralyzed, like a sleep paralysis. You're unable to move. They're able to take complete control of you, right? And they can only do that because they're from a higher dimension. So let's continue.
The child with a crayon in a coloring book, do you? But you see, remember that Satan is the god of this world. And for billions that are under him, blinded in the world, he has the authority to determine what is released in schools, news reports, in social media. And it was the same for thousands of years. He decided what was written on the history walls of time. You have to understand that he is an angelic being, a cherub angel who was not created on earth. So you must understand that he doesn't think in time and space like we do. He's playing a game of chess that far surpasses the understanding of a human mind. And this is why we need the mind of Jesus Christ, because he's been planning things for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And because he controls the media and he's the God of this world, he doesn't want you to put the pieces together and connect the dots, because it'll bring you all the way back to the foundation, which is the word of God.
I don't want to deceive myself. I think that I have been extremely, and you won't know that, but my conscience is clear. I've been extremely intellectually honest with myself. I'm not wishing for things. I'm following the evidence. Here is just acknowledge. Yeah, it was Duncan here that kind of had started I don't know where. Here, this one. You might want to read up on the cuneiform writings from the Sumerian civilization that predate the Bible, and then decide for yourself on the origins of the Bible before you start jumping into mythical and belief systems. So this is how the dialogue started, with assumptions and presuppositions that maybe he thinks I've been a Christian all my life, or that I've never like looked into these things. That's all that I was doing prior to becoming Christian, just looking into Planet X, Planet Nibiru, the Anunnaki, near-death experiences, all sorts of stuff. And if you look in my dialogue, I'm actually like, no, I completely think that the cuneiforms were speaking truth. But the problem is, it's truth from whose perspective? That's the only difference. I'm saying, yeah, if you look at, the Sumerian civilization, Mesopotamia, you look at Ur is a city, okay, in the Sumerian civilization, and Abraham comes from them. So the Bible's not like starting history and saying like, oh, it's like, look at this Bible, they didn't even know this culture existed. No, they're heavily involved with pagan nations all around. Trey Smith, like I had showed you as well over here, is a Christian, and he has answers to people. This idea that Christians just like concentrate, in the Bible, they don't know anything else, and that you have to like just read the Bible only, because if you start educating yourself in other things, then you'll lose your faith. It hasn't happened to me so far. It's only strengthened my faith. So this is another guy, big shout out for him. Don't forget Chuck Missler. Angels, Aliens, UFOs, Fallen Angels, The Christian Perspective, Chuck Missler's Return of the Nephilim. Like it says in Ecclesiastes, what was done before will be done again, and there's nothing new under the sun. And Jesus, I think, backs that up by saying, when they ask, when will be the coming of the Son of Man? He says, as in the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of Man. Man's wickedness, I don't know. This ain't the same world it was when I was a kid. It's getting pretty degenerate. And it's weird that a lot of people in a lot of ways think that it's actually like evolving into a better thing, a more compassionate thing. I'm not sure. I don't agree. Sorry. Keep on forgetting to share the tab. Sorry about that, guys.
Because it'll bring you all the way back to the foundation, which is the word of God. So instead, he wants to captivate the minds of billions and keep them simply wondering who these aliens truly are, these UFOs. Are they gods? Are they creators? But his agenda is to keep you from knowing Jesus Christ of Nazareth, our only way and only hope to God the Father. So he corrupts history and is controlling the rulers on the earth in this last hour. So would you agree that the mature thing for you and I to do before we break down this recent viral video and expose this one piece of evidence that all these news channels don't want to talk about when it comes to this family's testimony? There's one piece of evidence that they have deliberately left out of their news reports that we will expose. But before we do that, it would be immature for us not to look to the past, because the Bible says that which was shall be. And if you want to know your enemy's future, study his past. And let us see if we can expose what is really going on in this world and what the agenda is that the dragon has been planning for a very long time, and shine the light of Christ into the darkness and expose who these aliens really are. And we will find out that there is another gospel being preached, a demonic plan that I call the gospel of the aliens.
Really big shout out again. Go subscribe to this guy's channel. He puts a lot of effort. He's not monetized, not looking for money. He puts his heart and soul into it. Few little things I find he's a little wacky, but I like wacky Christians because you know what? They're open-minded.
In part because the primary witnesses have been almost as elusive as the beings they say they encountered.
Just before midnight on April 30th, skywatchers across several western states saw a bright fireball streak through the heavens. A police officer working in the Northwest Valley caught a glimpse of the colorful object on his body cam. At nearly the same time, a Ring camera in the area recorded a strange noise and what sounds like a crash. One family living in a ranch-style home.
So this is legit. This stuff, or like this whole like other thing about the recent alien stuff. There's no footage of these tall beings in Miami where all these cops arrived and stuff. I tried to find footage. There's nothing. This is legit footage.
Had a much closer view of the object. Two brothers and their father were working on a vehicle in their yard when they caught a glimpse of a sparkly object as it came crashing down, then were hit by what they describe as a shockwave. One of the witnesses, a young man named Angel, has stated when the...
Is that predictive programming? Got to throw in, you know, a little bit of truth. His name, Angel. Meanwhile, we're like, yeah, that's a falling star. That's an angel.
Brothers looked into the yard where the object landed. That spot was obscured and blurry, as if by unknown form of camouflage. What they saw next prompted a frantic call to 911.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're tiny eyes and they're not human. They're 100% not human. And they're not human. They're 100% not human. And they're not human. They're 100% not human.
8 News Now investigators have spoken with family members multiple times in the past 4 weeks, but each of the 3 times we accepted their invitation to do an interview, they didn't answer the door or their phone. These are some of the claims they've made in other public forums. Multiple family members backed up the story in an initial police report we obtained. Angel says they heard the patter of multiple feet in the yard. They later heard footsteps on their roof. They saw one of the 8-foot-tall creatures climb behind the controls of a large front loader stored in the yard, as if trying to engage it.
Now, they have the ability to cloak themselves, okay? We have this ability as well. New technology, I don't know if it's from this video. I've been, I watch a lot of videos. I can't do content on all of them. But yeah, this whole, like, to be completely, blended in, invisibility cloak for soldiers, for tanks and aircrafts. This technology has been, obviously 100%. I believe that we are seeing angel, right? Fallen angel technology. And when we look at the old megaliths, we see Nephilim architecture. So, I think that's A.L. Marzulli. That's his kind of famous catchphrase. And I think he's spot on. Ancient, fallen angel technology and Nephilim architecture.
Para me que cantis parile gallenge alla chorsi chora. Tosi. Ay! Pero sa. Calmungarela me calcine igual eso. Kailo chero que chili.
Here you kind of see possibly something like on the bottom of the fence. That's not really what impressed me. What impressed me the most is the light in the sky and the sound bite of something falling. I think those are really legit.
Kailo chero. Kailo.
So now that you've seen the original video, I am zoomed in to the bottom corner where you can see the alien moving away from the fence. It gets even crazier. If you look in the second slot at the very bottom, you'll see a finger come out of that crack. Now keep your eye on the bottom of the second crack of the fence. See it? All of these events you cannot see in the original video. I have cropped, I have slowed it down, I have zoomed in and did all I can in order to bring you this. This leads me to believe this is not a fake video.
Viene un show, se pico charico, se dalo.
¿Qué diablos? ¿Qué diablos?
Vaya, me dígale completico.
Oye, diablos.
Diablos.
Cállate.
Costelo, que acá, dile que acá, callale, yo muy pelón, sí, pelón, varón, pelón.
Ya.
Echalo, perdón, dijeron de Concha, que la de que
Pero
chujaba.
la voz-
He got a good look at one of the creatures, he said, a greenish-grayish being with large eyes and long legs. He says he could hear its deep breaths, and when he locked eyes, he was, in essence, frozen in place, couldn't move. In the middle of the yard where the object had crashed, then vanished, a circular impression was left in the soil.
Okay, where is this on your property?
Metro sources say the police dispatcher initially wondered whether to send a crisis intervention team to help the troubled witness, but then took the incident seriously. 2 officers arrived 38 minutes after the call, and by then had heard from other officers. They proceeded cautiously and managed some nervous laughs.
I ain't dealing with that.
A few days later, the family says 2 Metro sergeants returned to the scene to ask follow-up questions. The family says they also saw men in suits and sunglasses driving in a car with government plates cruising slowly past the house. The
One of them was Will Smith.
family says they also saw men in suits and sunglasses driving in a car with government plates cruising slowly past the house. With government plates cruising slowly past the house in the following days. Nellis and Creech have denied any interest or involvement with the incident. Metro has indicated they believe the family that something crashed in their yard. But what?
This is very odd. Remember this guy during the COOF conspiracy doctor claimed false flag alien invasion was coming days before his death. Very weird. Like this guy was like blowing, the lid off of stuff, and then he died. Very, very odd. In fact, like he's like kind of like a prior to this, like a health nut, doctor talking about how you can like remain healthy, and all of a sudden this guy dies. Very odd. Dr. Rashid Battar died at the age of 57 and claimed he had been poisoned shortly beforehand, but his final live stream saw him claim that an alien invasion would come. So we have the alien invasion coming there, and we also have, again, completely different person here, John DeSouza, in this video, you can go check that, please, was an FBI special agent working on counterterrorism and paranormal cases for 25 years. He conducted many investigations and collected the real X-Files used as the TV show, The X-Files. Dr. DeSouza has written 3 books, one of which, The Extra Dimensionals, he calls them, True Tales and Concepts of Alien Visitors, contains predictions about how a false flag blue beam event will play out. Okay. Not saying all of the signs in the heavens are false, but it's going to be a false flag alien invasion that will reinforce the idea that these are intergalactic, they are extraterrestrial, or they're from within our known universe, just far distances and stuff like that. I've been saying from the start, it's not about within. These are dimensional beings. They're not of this dimension. They're coming in from a higher dimension. They're able to come in and out of this existence and do things that defy even the laws of physics. And then after you have, yes, reversed engineer equipment as well. But on top of that, you also have Project Bluebeam that can also just add to the confusion and create all sorts of lying signs and wonders. Don't forget that Satan is given authority and dominion over the systems of this world, okay? And he is the prince of the power of the air, the first heaven, the sky, okay? The cloudy skies. That's his domain. He can create whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. And this is what I'm saying is it's leading us down a false conclusion. 97% real, not false, but it's just that little part, the origin of who they are and the intentions behind it that is wrong. And it's an important percentage because it's the difference, right? In this Exopolitical Today interview, Souza explains his decades of research and experiences that led him to the information inside extra dimensionals. He outlines several predictions and how these are being fulfilled by contemporary events that point to a false flag event involving a mix of holographic technologies and actual reverse engineering spacecraft is going to play out. De Souza's astounding predictions and analysis are a must-watch for any wondering with what cards the deep state will play as it desperately tries to hold on to political power. They need a crisis, and they need a crisis that will create so much fear that people will bind together. And again, binding together outside of God, God doesn't want that. So we could see that's why the European Union has the Tower of Babel. You know, they built the European Union building. It looks like the Tower of Babel. Their catchphrase is, many languages, one voice. It's mockingly saying, haha, you know what? Yeah, now we again have the technology to, though we are many languages with AI and chatbots, and we're able to translate and communicate and subtitles, auto-generated stuff. We can communicate with everybody. So yeah, it's all fitting into place. There's not many gray areas left in my mind.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is my first video. I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I'm gonna try to explain the best of my abilities. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not making this story out for clout or fame. I just want to tell you what happened to me.
So this is the actual kid. This guy's compiled everything here. It says pictures and testimonies that are real. With that being said, this is why we need discretion and discernment from God to know how to separate the real from the fake. And some people are threatened to change their story out of fear as well.
Me and my family. And I know some people are not gonna believe this, but each person is different. So this is what happened to me. Keep in mind, this is midnight and I'm fixing a truck in my backyard. At this point, I'm only with my brother and I hear something fall from the sky. I turn around, the only thing I see is a big light falling from the sky. And moments after, I feel a big impact and a bang, sort of like a big impact fall. And me and my brother looked at each other, and we were scared. But when the impact happened, it was sort of like a shockwave, like an out-of-body experience. So to say, when I tried to look at the object, it was all blurry, not my vision, but only the backyard area. And I hear thousands of footsteps around me, and maybe a couple seconds later, the blurriness was gone. And here's the footage of the body. The police officer's body cam, and here's the object I'm referring to.
I'm going to put it actually slow so we can actually see it. Go ahead.
The light. Video. Here's a Ring camera.
I saw a star falling from heaven. Oh, Lucifer.
Video. You could hear the bang. This is around the neighborhood. So here's the video.
High quality.
So when that happened, the only thing I can see in the backyard is a tall creature, probably around 8-10 feet tall.
There were giants in the
Here it says this is not actual footage. He doesn't have the footage there. To be honest, there's no footage that I find very compelling besides that little movement near the fence. What is really telling is that the cops at the same time as this 911 call is occurring, the cop, his partner, sees the light. We have a very good quality soundbite of it falling. So this one I think is pretty legit. Is he making up his story? We can't prove that, but this one is one of the non-fake claims, I think.
The earth in those days.
So I called my dad. He went to the backyard and he saw the same thing, the same creature I saw. He told me to go inside the house. At this point, we all freaking out, me and my family. And here's the video where we were in the backyard area. You cannot see it too good, but on camera, but it's there. Here's the video.
Ay! Permisar! Calmungarela, may calcines variso. Kylo, cherro, que chilica. Kylo, cherro.
Moments after the video, me and my brother went to go pick up my tools. Then my brother calls me, and he told me shakingly, "Look behind the forklift." So I look. Keep in mind I'm facing the forklift, and then I see the alien creature. So when I saw it, it was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray, greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird looking feet and a big face and eyes, and you can see a big mouth.
So I want you to understand that these multidimensional beings have the capabilities of controlling our senses. They can give us, whether it's actually happening or it's all happening as an illusion and a deception, the experience is very real. It doesn't matter if you think that you were beamed up to a ship or not. They're basically able to make us hallucinate whatever we want. I don't care if it's really up on a ship, if you've actually been teleported or not, or if this is just part of the narrative that they want, thousands and thousands of people to report. But this guy sensed that he had an altered state of consciousness. It's very similar to as well when the patriarchs by God get visions. John even says, I'm not even sure if I was really brought or if this was a vision or a dream. They're not sure. This is why it's very important not to speak to the dead. Don't speak to the dead. The dead cannot hear you. Okay. They have passed on into the other realm. There's a dark veil. Humans that are departed have no power, just like I have no power as a mere mortal, start jumping onto the other side. Okay. And why would your loved one, now that they're in that they're no longer in the physical realm, why would they know your future? People start getting confused and mixing the occult and saying during seances, asking the loved ones, will this happen or that one, as if that, all of a sudden, passed on relatives are psychic now that they're on the other side. That's not true either. So again, I was criticized by the gentleman who was saying if you knew anything about the Sumerian culture and the cuneiform stuff like that, assuming that I haven't researched that. I do not deny the occult. Stay the hell away from it. Okay. The occult, there's been a line right from the start. Okay. And it's followed, the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman. These two bloodlines have been following since our expulsion from the garden, guys. So I'm not denying the occult. What I'm saying is that it's the flip side of truth, and there's a subtle difference, and it's true, but it has lies in it, leading you away from the true God into your own self-worship and the worship of lesser beings, these fallen angels.
And I could hear his loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving. He would just stare at me. Seconds later, I could start moving again. And I started running towards the house. That's when I called 911, and here's a 911 call.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us.
Yann, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire? C'est de la prochaine fois que j'ai plus de temps, on peut regarder ça, éteindre le volume, puis on peut avoir aussi une discussion parce que c'est comme que tu dis, je suis complètement d'accord que oui, le monde qui sont en train de parler de ces expériences-là, c'est ils ne comptent pas de mentir, c'est vrai. Sauf que ils comprennent pas que les anges tombés ont la capacité de nous faire halluciner toutes sortes d'affaires, de mettre des communications télépathiques, etc.
Big eyes. They have big eyes. Like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're tiny eyes and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
Like, just like, okay, like, what am I going to do with this?
I'm waiting for the police to come, and you could hear footsteps in the backyard area, and a loud whispering, like you could hear whisperings. We were in the living room area, and you could hear footsteps on the roof. So we waited a little bit for the police. When they arrived, they told me I told them what I saw, and they were kind of freaked out. Here's the body cam of the officer.
And now it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like a long 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall in the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or?
They see like a big. That's what they say. They see like a big something with light. What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro.
So they went in the backyard, and one of the officers pointed at the floor, and it was a perfect circle. Here's a photo of the circle I'm referring to.
Ooh. Darn. Well, I guess you saw it.
Keep in mind, 2 officers came in my house, and one of them started running to his car, driving around the neighborhood, asking passing cars if they saw a light.
What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However,
we're slowly being programmed. We're being acclimated to the idea that extraterrestrials are real, and there is a new gospel, and it is the gospel of salvation through our galactic brothers. And gospel just means the good news. So people will take this good news that so happy the Bible isn't real. Actually, all of this, God holding us accountable and angels and things like that, it's all about mythology. And really, it's basically we just have to know that aliens put us here and they're coming back. They're going to solve all our problems and they're going to upgrade us, and we will become enlightened, higher vibration beings that can even be downloaded, hopefully, into digital reality. So again, it's just stealing. It's like God's like, yeah, I made you, man in my image, and they're like, no, we're your creators. You're in our image. Oh, okay, I made that. So it's just taking the glory always away from God, and they want that glory.
Seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
Goosebumps are freaking out. He started investigating that. He told me his partner, she saw a light falling from the sky. He told me he believed me because her partner reported that she saw the same light as me. Now we're walking the front yard. Then the other officer came here. Here's a video of him talking to my family.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So moments before they left, one of the officers told me, if I see the thing again, to don't call him, just shoot him. And you can hear in the video. Here's the video.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself.
Again, this is before getting into any of this. My wife has been talking about this for years, that on occasion, there are shadow people, they're called, And this is all over the internet. You can go look at the Shadow or the Hat Man. Okay, these are, again, and she's explained it as well, that these are, she goes, they look like they're 6, 7, 8 feet. They're super tall. They're complete shadows. They're darker than the darkness of the room, and it's an impenetrable, not an ethereal darkness. It's just like, there's the shape. It's the shape often with almost like a gentleman's hat or a Quaker hat and stuff like that, that they are often two, and they just stare. They just stay at the foot of the bed, and they'll kind of move very close. They'll approach her. Michelle says that I asked her, like, she's like, I don't move, but she's not sure if it's because she cannot move or because she's just not going to move because she doesn't want to acknowledge them so that they know that she can see her. Michelle, not willingly, but Michelle has near death. Michelle often has, astral voyages. She doesn't try and do that, and she never researched it. So I know that my wife is not a liar, and there's some crazy stories of that. So I believe, again, in all of these things. Then I even believe even more about these tall shadow people, because my son, why would me or Michelle tell my son when he was young, watch out tonight. You might see the shadow man. He's a tall man. He stares at you at your bed. No, I wouldn't say that. But Josiah said that he saw this tall, dark shadow with a hat last night, exactly like my wife. So this stuff is real. And I think that, again, these are interdimensional beings. They're not departed loved ones, okay? These are demonic evil spirits or fallen angels themselves. I don't think the dark shadow people are fallen angels. I think that those are the spirit of the Nephilim. It also says that when the Nephilim, when the Nephilim, these hybrid, demigods, half angel, half human, when they die, because they're abominations, they are left to roam the earth, and they are the tormenting spirits. That's why I'm saying that these Nephilim are the evil spirits. They can appear, they can make you hallucinate, so that you are having true supernatural experiences, but that could happen all in the comfort of your bed. You could be all over the place. Things could be happening, truly happening or not. And, a lot of people who have these painful procedures, it's like, really, they're advanced galactic brothers, but they don't care enough to give you anesthesia, because we figured out about anesthesia for a long time now. Let's continue.
I ain't dealing with that.
So they left, and we went inside the house, and we started praying. As we're praying, you could hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard.
Let's play it again. This is the part, I'm just curious why. This is the part that they did not show, and it's true. Like I just saw this yesterday. I'm like, they didn't edit anything. They let the whole thing. It was on all the news station except the last part, that they went inside the house and they prayed. And when they prayed, they heard outside in the yard a scream.
So they left, and we went inside the house, and we started praying. As we're praying, you could hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard.
And we started praying. As we're praying, you could hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard. And we started praying. As we're praying, you could hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard.
Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Let me ask you a question. Don't you find it
He's done an amazing job, eh? This guy, I mean, I really just got to make sure that I'm acknowledging. Just show here. Yeah, so the dialogue with the guy that was assuming I didn't know. I haven't done a deep, theology of Sumerian civilization. I've done enough to realize where it fits in. Yeah, you can turn. Where are you gonna sit?
I'm not gonna sit. I'm just going in the kitchen.
Yeah, turn on the living room one. Yeah, that's good.
I think behind you it'll make a weird
Yes, it will. Yeah. Anyways, I was kind of just responding, and I said, I've been there, done that in my 20 prior years. Fallen angel business, nothing new under the sun, in my opinion. Says all nations were put under the governing of the sons of God. I've been there, done that also with the Anunnaki. It's like, I'm not denying a lot of it. It's very important. It fits a big part of the puzzle. But the Bible just makes everything very clear. The Bible is a continuation. Yes, okay. Sumerian civilization is older than Abraham. Abraham comes out of one of the cities of the Sumerian culture and Mesopotamian region. So I said, as a Christian, I have never said that other religions have no truth. I meant it's all about the angels and their offsprings of the Nephilim. Just makes the Bible more historical. Abraham is from Ur, a Sumerian city in Mesopotamia. I admit there's probably a lot more stuff that I have to learn. There's a lot more stuff that I have to learn about the Bible too. It doesn't mean that, you're only allowed to open up your mouth when you know 100% of everything, because no one knows that. The Bible is so complex that you could live for 1,000 years and you're still going to be scratching your head going, that's amazing. How did I not see that? And it's so obvious now. Just makes the Bible more historical. That was my opinion. Abraham's is from Ur, a Sumerian city in Mesopotamia. The Bible acknowledges this and explains all this. Nothing new under the sun. These tablets don't have the wealth of prophecy supporting it like the Bible. It's just ancient occultism in many ways. Again, by me saying it's just ancient occultism doesn't mean that it is false. I'm just saying that occultism is the counter narrative to Yahweh. It's basically the serpent's the good guy. The fallen angels are the good people. They are the ones that brought knowledge to man, right? From the star people, the sky people. I get where you're coming from. My argument, though, is based on time differences. Cuneiform writing are way older. Well, yeah, there is, I got into this before. It's like, yeah, well, you know what? Put the cuneiform writings as well as the biblical writings. Put the academic scholars. Put the standards that they set on it, and the Bible is very historical. The Dead Sea Scrolls, we found it, and nowhere. Chuck Missler, Trey Smith. This guy, all the Christians that are speaking about the first book of Enoch, none of us are saying that these other mythologies. You're the one actually that called it a mythology. I would say a mythology has been added to it, but and I think maybe Duncan doesn't watch my content because he's assuming that I'm probably going to say occultism's false. All of these things are false. Only the Bible is real. And it's like, no, never said that. I said the Bible is just a continuation. And the Bible acknowledges the Sumerian culture. So the majority of the Old Testament stories can be traced back to stories emanating from these ancient Sumerian tablets. That's me saying it. When you combine them with the Anunnaki pantheon, Bible origins become extremely questionable. That's what he's saying. So because it's a continuation, no, I think it's quite normal that, they were onto something. The Sumerians weren't just like creating fairy tales and stories like that. They were expressing something, and well, time has gone by. There's been centuries and millennia, and there is still human beings documenting stuff. And I don't see just because the Bible appears after other writings, it is basically not copying, because, like I said, it's talking about the same thing. So obviously there's going to be similar things. The difference is that the Bible is saying this guy's the good guy, and in your stories and every other culture, this guy is not the good guy. So God is made out to be the bad guy in the other cultures. Secondly, on the part of occultism and the lack of prophecy, that's just a natural Christian way, right? So that's just, do that in a debate and see where that gets you. That's just a natural Christian way of dismissing supernatural occurrences. Does anybody who knows me, would anybody consider me somebody who I don't want to get a strike. I cannot have music too long.
It's my music. I made it. I made the whole beat.
I don't know if YouTube would just be happy to strike me with
That's
anything.
my title on.
Right? They don't know that you're my son. They'll say I copyrighted you. No, it's bad. The music, especially. You can watch a video and comment, but for like the music stuff, especially if I'm like not commenting on the music, it might just completely ban me. He says, secondly, on the part of occultism and the lack of prophecy, that's just natural Christian way of dismissing supernatural. Never have I dismissed any supernatural occurrence. I don't dismiss that there's supernatural fallen angels, evil spirits, Satan. Which Christian actually does not believe in the supernatural? What I'm saying is there's prophecies in the Bible, and the prophecies, there's no book like that, puts the Sumerian tablets to shame, and every other document. It's only the Bible that has prophecy fulfilled. And if you do a deep dive into that, it's fine. And if you skip that and you just block your ears about not engaging with biblical prophecy, then you're just not being honest, because the nations were scattered, and God promised in the end of the age that he would regather Israel for the end time. And by the way, he's regathering in the end the unbelieving and showing for his own glory that you know what, I promised Abraham this land claim. In the end, this land claim is mine. You got Roman Empire, the Grecan Empire, Ottoman, the Caliphate, all of these huge Babylonian empires, Assyrian, Sumerian, all of these cultures. Where are they? Where are these nations? But you have tiny little Israel. Ever since Abraham promised this land, all the bloodshed and trouble of ridding them from the hordes of hell, those Nephilim that were the tribes that were there during and prior to Joshua's time, during Moses's time. Again, it's crazier than you think, the Bible. I said, secondly, on the part of occultism and the lack of prophecy, that's just a natural Christian way of dismissing. I never dismissed it. And I can just, say the same thing, right? So I said that the other religions, or call them what you like, are speaking historical truth. They may be called different names, but the same major characters, the same story, same rebellion, slight difference. Something coming after something doesn't make it untrue. The validity of the Bible doesn't rest on this sole factor anyways. Listening, this being said, I completely understand and support your conclusions. Like what? I'm throwing this out here. Like, I'm not going to get like triggered or mad. Like, obviously there's tons of people that are going to think exactly like him. And I thought that way too. I can respond to you with the same argument, typical non-believer, blah, 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 but I won't, because it leads to nothing. I don't assume to know your intentions. if you're getting a typical response from a group, it doesn't mean that that typical response is wrong. I don't think you know my content very well from the presuppositions and assumptions you're making. I am a very strong believer actually in the occult. It's true, but it's evil. I have come to the conclusion that it originates from the rebellion of Satan and the rebellion of Genesis 6, the fallen angels. That's my final answer. Again, don't forget that we are tying this in with John DeSouza, a FBI special agent. Go check this over here where he talks about the coming deception that just to it's a way of looking at all of these signs in the heavens, but the deception is they're going to make it holographic and stuff like that, that there is a coming alien invasion. This allows all of the deceivers that are in the deep state or the people in the globalists, I don't care what you want to call them. We all know who we're talking about. Those at the top, the ones that are getting the information from the fallen angels. Maybe they don't know they're fallen angels. Maybe they think that they're aliens. But when you really look into the occultism, they believe in Lucifer. They also believe in God. They're just choosing the other side. So occultists are not atheists. Occultists believe in the true God. They just think that they'd rather be on the side of Lucifer.
Yeah, whenever you have bad actors involved in their interests in something that is going on, like the book that was written by Serge Manasse, then you should always assume that they had something to do with it until it's proven otherwise, because their interest in this is just too heavy. It's too heavy and thick to ignore. And although it looks like since that, it looks like there's a lot of government documents that have actually admitted the work on Project Bluebeam. I mean, I've heard about many documents from the government that actually talk about it and reveal a lot about Project Bluebeam. I read a thick folder the other day about Project Bluebeam and how important it was for the governments to be able to use this as a method of population control, I guess. And it's really
Darla just told me, I didn't know, Jason Serge Manasse, the writer of Project Bluebeam, was a Quebecer, and he was killed. Well, that's just a coincidence, Darla. Nothing to see here. Move along.
astonishing stuff. And it's one of the reasons why people believe that everything is just either it's holograms or it's real. And one of the things that people don't understand is that Project Bluebeam is going to be used not as a replacement for real actions. It's going to be used the way that Hollywood uses CGI, and it's possible there's going to be involvement from Hollywood in this as well, where they're going to be using holograms in order to do what Hollywood calls sweetening of these false flags. And so, in other words, they can actually have, when we have, for instance, fake alien invasion, where we will have the cabal send all of these Tic Tacs against a city, against one of our major cities, to actually destroy it and to make it basically to wreak havoc upon one of our cities. Well, they're going to do that, but then they can use Project Bluebeam methods to make these real 10 or 20 Tic Tacs appear to be 1,000 Tic Tacs in the sky. And that's what they can do in order to ratchet up the terror factor. Because when you see 10 or 20 of these things, and they're real, they're very much real, they can come and wreak some havoc. But when you see 1,000 of them behind them, it sends up the fear level so much higher. So that's what I really think the role of Project Bluebeam is going to be in these projects when they come forward. And it's going to be really something. Like, for instance, people can see in movies. In movies, what they'll do is they'll do a physical effect where you'll have 10 soldiers in the front row, but then they'll use CGI or something like Project Bluebeam to.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like if you saw Michael Jackson, that video. It's a documentary of just a lot of footage of him preparing for that, the final show kind of thing. And it was the same thing, him marching, and it looked like, millions and billions, innumerable amount of soldiers, walking inside that, but it's like 3 people, but it creates that effect. They're not going to change what works. And we understand how social engineering happens. It's been the same method over and over and over again. Fear. And Ronald Reagan had to let us know what was happening, and he did by saying, I imagine that if there was a alien force that came, how quickly that we would forget all our difference. And it's like, that is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to reverse Babel. Okay. Many languages, one voice again, but one voice, not under God, one voice in their own name, trying to reach the heavens.
Create 10,000 soldiers behind them. But the first row of soldiers can still kill you for real. They can't do that. And so that's what we have to. That's why people, when they hear Project Beam, they tend to think, oh, then that means it's just going to be a bunch of pretty holograms, and it won't be able to affect us. And that's not true at all. That's not how they're going to be using it. They're going to be using it as an addendum, as a sweetener to situations that are deadly, absolutely deadly. So that's one of the things I want people to realize and to know, because sometimes people look about this about fake alien invasion, and they screw it all up. I mean, they screw it all up by telling people that when it happens, when false alien invasion, fake alien invasion happens, it's just going to be a bunch of holograms.
All right. So again, just throwing out a possibility. Hopefully, it'll stick in your head, and you might be like, oh, this is exactly what DeSouza was talking about. So Michael Sala. All right, that's his channel. Shout out to him. Notice I subscribed. So go see. He has some really good stuff. Let's go back to my friend over here. Very awesome channel. Also subscribe. Revelation of Jesus Christ. Very, very good videos. Give it a thumbs up. Let's continue.
A little strange that all of these news channels describing everything this young man is talking about to the very minute detail just so happened to leave out the one detail that changes everything about this story.
As we're praying, you can hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard.
I don't find that a little bit strange? Or maybe is it because the dragon is the god of this world, blinding the minds of the people, and he runs the media. He controls what the news stations are allowed to put out and release. I mean, think about this logically. They give all of the details of everything he's talking about, but the one detail of him and his family getting together and praying to the Lord and hearing a screeching cry from outside of their house is mistakenly left out of all these news channels. You think that is just a coincidence? Ask yourself, why would they leave that out? It's because the dragon don't want you to connect the dots. He don't want you to start to realize this is not some alien thing. This is a spiritual war going on between good and evil, between Jesus Christ of Nazareth and the kingdom of heaven, and the dragon and his kingdom. But you see, the devil is crafty. So he makes up words to try and cause you to look left instead of looking right. So by labeling these things as aliens and UFOs, he's hoping that you will not connect the dots and go back and research what is written in the Bible. Make no mistake about it. This is a spiritual war. This is not an intergalactical war, but an interdimensional war. And once you understand this principle, that the word of God is real, Jesus Christ literally came to the earth approximately 2,000 years ago, that the dragon is literally the prince of the power of the air. When you start to understand,
you see the serpent imagery. You also see the red dragon imagery. It's even on the crest of Prince Charles. that says in a fancy language, I serve, and you'll see the red dragon. So there's, the World Economic Forum too, we see Klaus Schwab, we see all the global corporations. Yeah, probably behind the scenes, there's something with Prince Charles too, definitely something with the Vatican. They're all tied together, but they are all under one banner. And either it's, the banner of Yahweh God, right? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Joseph. Let's be very specific about which God. Or you're for the red dragon, or you're deceived and unknowingly are for the red dragon. The deception of Satan. The Jews at the time of Jesus were deceived. They thought that they were doing God's work. They thought that they knew their own scripture, but they were reading it, and yet they were blinded and deceived. And this will happen with the Christian church as well. But I'm glad that I'm putting this out here. Take what you want from it, but I am really, really convinced about this interdimensional beings. It just fits with the physics of the phenomena, and anyways, let's continue.
Understand this. And you know what's crazy is even the Luciferians, even those in the occult in Hollywood, know that this is a war between Christ and the dragon, but they have chosen their side. They know. Hollywood knows this is a spiritual war.
Still out here doing these songs, you're still on tour.
I do, but I don't take it for granted.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
with the chief commander.
Chief commander. It's like he, in his song, Bob Dylan, you have to serve somebody. It might be the devil or it might be the Lord, but you're going to have to serve someone. People don't like that, eh? I don't want to serve God. I am God. I'm a divine spark from the divine. I don't need to be held accountable by a God. But they end up serving either themselves, which leads to our own destruction and ruin and puts us in the place of God. We worship the worship of self, or the worship of lesser beings, or even things that are created instead of the creator, like celestial stars and stuff like that. It leads to idol worship, and it's one of the 10 commandments. Don't do it.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then in the world we can't see.
On this earth? And this earth, and then the world we can't see.
You said the supposed spirits of the dead that you're talking with are demon spirits. Your fallen angels. They're beautiful beings.
Just set it out, just like
that.
Yeah.
It didn't make you uneasy when he said they were.
Well, it shocked you a little bit, something that you first hear mentioned to you. He said, you guys have got a great future ahead of you. Because we've been told, the high priest of our society, secret society, has been told that the master has very special plans for you too.
Now, what did he mean by the master?
Satan. And we were interested to hear more about it. And he told us, he says, look, we worship spirits. We worship Lucifer and all his angels. They're just as beautiful as they did before they were cast out of heaven. He says there was a misunderstanding in the whole thing among the inhabitants of the galaxies. And he says our master was misunderstood, and God did not bear with him.
Yeah, you talk to the occults, like they're like, right on board. They're like, yeah, there is a God and stuff. We worship Lucifer. God was evil. God was trying to keep us in the garden, stupid, and it's the serpent that is trying to open up our eyes. He's the good. He's the light bearer. There's a definite, counter narrative, 100% making the serpent the good guy. Hi. Yeah. family's home.
Like he does with people that make mistakes today. So we're in a warfare, good against evil. And we
I don't have anything for Grandpa. Oh, did you tell him that Nana
happen to be the evil ones, but we're not that bad. He says, I looked at this business between the force of good and evil. He says, you believe in one person believes in God, and everyone believes in Lucifer. It's like politics. Well, it was, we'd been there maybe half a dozen times. And the high priest told us after the meeting was over, he wanted to talk to us, my friend and I. So after the most led life, he says, the master of my life has revealed to me that it is time for you people to become acquainted with the worship room of the gods. Well, we started to move toward a beautiful grand staircase. Beautiful. The banister was huge. It was massive. And the wrought iron work that they had done it was super. The beautiful decorations on the walls. The chandelier on the first landing. That was the first landing. You go down about 8 or 10 steps and you had the first landing. It was huge and beautiful. The light arrangement was the nicest I had ever seen in my life. Like the priest mentioned, there's thousands of spirit worshippers in different societies of spirit worshippers in this world. But he says we are the elite. We know the real truth about the master and his angels. And they are not hideous-looking beings. They are gorgeous creatures. And from the paintings that they had on the wall of that.
All right, this one's long enough, guys.
He hasn't been quiet.
Yeah, no, I'm stopping. All right, so this was, just taking advantage of some time. I'm going to be gone to a conference for the next 3 days, so you won't see much of me in the coming 3 days. I have to travel to Montreal 3 days in a row. So I am stopping it right now. It's been 2 hours, and I think that we will use the Project Bluebeam video as well as this one to create more discussion on the topic. Again, I just want to give credit where credit is due before I stop. Please go to this guy's channel, Revelation of Jesus Christ. It's the handle is at the Ghetto Gospel Team. All right, over here. And I also want to tell you, go check out more content about Project Bluebeam if you're not aware of it, as well as check John DeSouza. Maybe there's more videos as well for that. And please subscribe as well to this guy. I don't know much about him. I just saw one video, so that's why I subscribed, but it was interesting enough that, I was willing to watch the content online with you. Here we go. Sorry about that. This is Michael Sala at Michael Sala. And then we have, of course, wacky old God in a Nutshell, Trey Smith. His handle on YouTube is at Trey Smith Nutshell. Go watch his documentaries. Like I said, I tried to purchase the whole pack of his documentaries and it never arrived. I had to cancel it with Visa. So that was upset. Not saying he's a con man, but something didn't work with his client services. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, for showing up. If you enjoyed this, please share it. And time to go spend time with the family. I'm just going to look at some of the comments. They said a heart attack, but one father created in his image. Thanks, Stephen A, for showing up. Thanks, Jules. See Matt. Thanks, buddy, for showing up. I'll see Jan. I'm going to do a French version with Jan talking about all of this interesting stuff. Hey, Andrew. Again, it's JJSWARTZ79@gmail.com. We can talk offline. Really happy to see you here. Hey, LA, what's up? I enjoyed the talk we had a few days ago. And all right, that's it. Have a good time. Have a good one. See you guys. Bye-bye.